everybody. I want to thank you so much for joining me on another Road to the Top. Today, I'm so excited to share with you my next guest. She's somebody that I've only really became friends with and started learning about her over the last few years. And how I actually met her was at every year, a group of us black belts, we give a big Christmas dinner where we dress all up, dinner, visit, and have a great time. And she happened to be a guest of one of the black belts that came to the dinner. And I was introduced to her. And actually, it was just an introduction. We didn't have anything more than polite a conversation. She went her way, I went my way, and that was it. But as time went along, our paths continued to cross. And so we would we'd indulge in some sort of conversation. And each time I met her, I started to learn a little, bit more about her. And I found her extremely interesting. So I looked her up on social media and I started following her. And I was always so amazed with each and every word and story she had to tell. And I thought, man, this is really cool. I really, when the day comes, I get my Road to the Top up, she has to be a guest. But you know what else really caught my attention was that every time I read something about her, she always quoted something from the Bible. And you know me, being a woman of faith, anybody who comes out and expresses their feeling for God, that is so awesome for me. So I just knew that this day was going to come, and it surely has come. I know you're going to be captivated with each and every word and story that she has to share with us. You know, not many people really make it to their road to the top, and she definitely made it to her road to the top in her given sport. I want you to meet the beautiful, lovely Janine Avanti. Janine, where are you?
Good morning, Malia. Good morning, everyone.
Hey, Janine, I want to thank you so much for saying yes to the interview. And I'm so happy that over the years that we've formed an acquaintance and that we begin to learn a little bit about each other. And it was really awesome that I found we both kind of had lots of things in common. I love the snow, you love the snow. I love to water ski, you love to water ski. And the more I knew about you, the more I knew that your story had to be told. But what have you been doing with yourself since you're such an athletic person since we've been in lockdown?
Oh my gosh, lockdown has changed my life. Gyms were closed. I had to learn how to use the internet better with YouTube and online workouts and booty bands and 5-pound weights, whatever I could find to try to keep my body in shape. That's pretty much what I've been doing at home and away from home, walking lunges, squats. I love to travel, so I've been able to take those home workouts with me, but it's definitely not the same as being in a gym.
Yes, it gave us time to kind of regroup and have a re-identify who we were, who we are, where
Yes.
we're going. But didn't I see you maybe last week or somewhere? You went on a road trip somewhere?
Malia, I am always traveling. I've been bit by the travel bug at such a young age.
You're a
My mom,
gypsy.
yes, a gypsy. Completely. I'm in Mexico often since borders are still open. I'm in Glamis sand duning. I love motorcycle riding. I go to Havasu. I do some water skiing there still. So I'm all over the place.
You are a regular tomboy.
I am. Thank you. That's a compliment. Thank you.
But look, when it's time to be a tomboy, that's who we are. But when it's time to be a lady, that's who we are. That's part of life. But anyhow, um, do you have brothers, sisters?
I have a sister, Christine Avanti. She's older than me. She's a wonderful woman. She's a fitness and nutrition expert. She's had a show on Food Network, and she's helped me nutrition wise basically my entire life and through all of my fitness and sports
Awesome.
endeavors.
Just one sister?
I have a half sister. Also, but I have one sister that I was raised with in our home.
Wow. I read a little bit about, I think I met your mama one time, mama
Yes.
and papa, I think. Your mother also should be somebody I interview. She's really an interesting woman. And you're really so fortunate to have a mother that is so strong physically and mentally. That's probably why you are the way you are today.
Yes, definitely. She and my sister and most of my family, grandparents, cousins, are my first mentors in life. So I really look up to them. I'm the youngest of all my cousins. And so to have such a strong mom and sister and cousins and grandparents that were always, pushing me and wanting me to strive for more. My mom is an incredible, amazing woman, and she's the reason I think why I do so much with myself. Mothers are really tough on us and they never want us to settle as their children. And so we continue to strive for more.
Where did you grow up? In California?
I did. I was born in San Jose, California,
San
Silicon
Jose.
Valley.
Oh my God.
Yes.
You
My
even know
mom
where it is.
Oh, yeah, Northern California, right? I no longer reside in that area. I'm in Southern California now, but I was born and raised in Northern California. I lived on a farm in my much younger years with three different homes with cousins, grandparents. Like I said, they were the first to mentor me, but also push me as well.
How fun. I grew up on a ranch also. So see, I had to gather the eggs and uh, feed the animals and pick the walnuts or whatever was out there. Truly, I grew up in Hollister, California. So San Jose and how they're not that far apart. So I am at heart an old farm girl. Sometimes I think that growing up on a ranch or on a farm is a great experience. Of course, when I was little, I didn't like it. I didn't want to live like that. But then when I became an adult, I realized how fortunate I was to have that life. Do you feel that way?
I completely feel that way. I was not that far from Hollister. I was in Gilroy. So
Yeah.
we were really close to one another, maybe different decades, but I do think that I was extremely fortunate to grow up with natural things and also my family as such a tight unit. They were descendants from Italy. My grandparents came over to Ellis Island. And so part of me feeling so invincible as I get older is their dream for their family
Yes,
to have the
exactly.
American dream, do whatever we want. We're women, we're powerful, men as well. We are limitless.
Yeah. I'm amazed you didn't ride horses, a rodeo queen out there, barrel racing.
I've had a few experiences on horses where I was not as lucky as my cousins. I was small, I was thrown off. So I was kind of afraid
Oh,
of
no
large
fun.
animals.
No fun. But anyhow,
Not for
you
me.
use the key word here, small. You were a young girl. I know that you would not be this strong, powerful, secure, go-getter woman today because your beginning in life did not start out that way at all. I'm aware of the fact that you had a difficult childhood, somewhat of an abusive childhood. But that isn't anything I'm getting into. This is a positive interview. What I am so attracted about doing this interview with you is your crazy stories. And the first story that I loved when we were chatting is when I found out about your childhood. Uh, not many young children come out of the trauma that you went through. And I was so fascinated with the crazy story that you told me about what helped you overcome the dark world you lived in as a child were the movies. You have to
Yes.
explain that story to our listeners because I think it might help other people.
That's true. So, as you said, my beginnings weren't that great. After the farm, we moved to the Bay Area. Unfortunately, I had a not so great stepfather back then. He's been removed from my life for many decades now, thank you, God. And I always tried to disassociate as a child. I would put my nervous energy into sports, but then when it was time to go home and I was maybe living in fear of being at home sometimes, I would engulf myself into movies and television, and I would put myself in there like Goonies and being on an adventure and Pirates of the Caribbean or James Bond, like thrill seeking movies, things that weren't truly of this world, but a fantasy place that I could go off to and have fun, great adventures. So I really loved movies and wanted to put myself in there as those characters at a young age.
I love this part where you never wanted to be Cinderella, because that would have the fairy tale stories that would never make you who you were today. So you chose a different book, which was the monsters, horrors. I tell that story.
Yes, I think that most young girls, Cinderella and Disney type movies, um, in a proper home setting are probably that's what they tend to turn to. But for me, it was more like G.I. Joe, Rambo, things like that. Things that more tomboys or boys would be doing, more adventurous types of movies. I think that like I said, we're limitless. We could be strong women, tough women. We could play those roles. We could be G.I. Jane. I mean, come on, Demi Moore's amazing. So yeah, I always wanted to be the stronger, tougher side of acting.
I was just the opposite of you. I love both worlds. I love the princess and all of that. I always thought one day my prince might come, but I'm still waiting.
Well,
But I used to love when I was young. There wasn't. I know I was fascinated with Nancy Drew, detectives. I too was always fascinated with strong women, strong character women's, and so yeah, I can understand that. Janine, the one thing I found when reading about your past and all of this is, we had a lot in common. We both water and snow ski. Now, which came first? At your young age, let's start with 10. At 10, were you snow skiing or water skiing?
I was mostly snow skiing at 10. Being in Northern California, the snow's not that far away. There were no snowboards at that time, so I'm letting you know how old I am.
Now, this
And
was
so,
10 years of age.
yes, yes.
Okay, so
So
continue.
37 years ago, I was snow skiing. I loved it. I love being outdoors. I love the thrill. I like being afraid almost of being hurt. So I thrived on that energy, that excitement that I knew at that age, or maybe I didn't know that I was a thrill seeker. But however I was feeling inside of me was thrill seeking. I wanted to go faster. I wanted to jump higher, and then I just wanted to do every sport. I wanted to be a surfer, a skateboarder. I practiced and practiced. I wasn't very good at, surfing or skateboarding, but I was a great snow skier. And then I became a really great water skier as well.
Yes. Now, did you start snow skiing first or snowboarding?
I started snow skiing first because snowboarding hadn't really come out yet. It was a few years later.
Yeah.
My mom at that time was working really hard for us at IBM to make, money to keep the lights on, regular things kids don't know about. I really wanted a snowboard. And so she had gone out and actually purchased me a used Burton snowboard in 1985. And to this day, I still have that board because I understand how hard you have to work to make that type of money to provide to your kids what they want. And so she's just an incredible person. And I love snowboarding. I love all board sports, basically.
For those watching, maybe that have never snow skied or snowboard, explain the difference, the feel of the difference.
Oh my goodness. It's extremely different. The first time you get on either a snowboard or snow skis, you feel like you are just flying down, even on the bunny slope, this massive ice cube with no control. The skis you can plow to slow yourself down or fall on your butt, usually comes along. You tend to want to lean forward, but your mind says, I want to lean back. On a snowboard is, to me, I feel a lot easier, especially as a skateboarder. Your feet are separated. You can slalom down the hill, back and forth, take it more gradual. I enjoy both. I think now that I'm older, what's safer for me are the skis, which are what I started out first on.
Yeah, I love deep powder. Oh, deep powder skiing. Oh, just fly on all. It's a good feeling. Do you know the sport tricking?
I don't know the sport trick. Oh,
Okay.
I've seen it, but I've never tried it.
I was introduced, I never even heard of tricking. I'm going to do an interview with our local tricker who's our
Oh,
champion out here. But I had a lot of friends in Africa, they were doing tricking and they would say, Leah, you know what tricking is? And I said, tricking? What on earth is tricking? And that was my introduction to it. But there's a lot of people that like it, a lot of people that don't like it. I like it because it's such a grueling sport. It's almost like a gymnastic thing, but they also have kind of combined it now with tricking and martial arts and all of that. But I'm amazed you don't know about that. So, okay, so when you were the young girl, did you get into competition with your snow skiing and snowboarding?
I was not very competitive as a snow skier or snowboarder. Being in California, the summer lasts a lot longer than the winter. And so my family, we had a ski boat and we went water skiing a lot. I wasn't very good on one ski, so I opted for no skis. I'm known in my high school yearbook as a barefoot water skier. So, and I think at that time it was really rare to see a young teenage girl barefoot water skiing. I love the California Delta. It's
Yeah.
smooth out there. There's all types of competitive water sports happening out there.
Now, you talk about barefoot water skiing. How old were you when you started that?
I started barefoot water skiing when I was about 13 years old, which is
Why?
pretty
Why did you even try that?
well. I saw the people around me doing it. Mike Seipel was doing it, former family member was doing it, and I was like, I want to do that too. I can do whatever you can do. So it kind of beat me up, but I loved it. I practiced and practiced. I thought that that's the sport that I would compete in until I saw somebody going 90 plus miles an hour on one water ski. And I was like, that's it. That's my sport. I want to ski that fast.
Oh my, I can't imagine. I did trick skiing. I like trick skiing barefoot. I never even thought of doing that. How do you prepare to be able to, how far did you go on barefoot? Miles?
So it's funny you should ask. I had to do a lesson on learning something in high school. And of course, my lesson was how to barefoot water ski. So, right, Malia? It's usually there's a visual, but I'll try to explain. So there's about a 75-foot line rope behind the boat with a handle on it. And without any skis on, you arch your back, put your toes over the rope like this, hold your breath and put your head back. You start to plane on the back of your body until you get up to about 34 miles an hour. You take your feet off the rope, sitting on your butt, and rock forward until you hit the arches of your feet. And boom, you're up. You're almost like sitting in a chair position, skiing on your actual bare feet. There's nothing else like it. It's exhilarating, it's thrilling, and when you crash, it's hard. I've actually broken my neck.
Did
So
you barefoot 1 foot or 2 feet?
I have done 1 foot, 2 feet, tumble turns, no hands, biting the handle. I've
Yeah.
done like a Coca-Cola deal where you're holding a can of soda, and I've done everything you could do. I've barefooted backwards,
Oh
frontwards.
my gosh, you must have had some amazing crashes when
I have
learning.
had, I've definitely had some crashes. I think really that's what veered me away from barefoot water skiing at such a young age. All of the injuries.
You know, I can't imagine the wear and tear you put on your body. How many years did you do barefoot skiing?
I did barefoot skiing off and on for, I don't know, maybe 6 years.
Wow. And how many miles would you go?
Barefooting is a really short sport because your feet start to hurt. So, we would make so many minute runs a couple times a day. But after that was when I really got into high speed water ski racing.
Okay, so that's the part I'm really fascinated with because I've water skied, I've done the tricks, I've done all that stuff, but high speed out in the ocean and all this, I never did. So you started high speed water skiing at what age?
Oh my gosh, I started at the age of 21, which is honestly really late to start a sport, but I just loved how exhilarating it was, how fast I could potentially learn how to ski. I liked being around like-minded go-getter type people. That
Well,
was the
how do you
beginning.
train for high speed? I know high speed, is it only done in the ocean? Do you do it in lakes or is how do you train? You certainly don't get behind the boat and tow and suddenly, wow, you have to train your body, the pounding,
Yes.
mentally, physically, your internal self. How did you prepare for the future that you built for yourself in high speed water skiing?
Well, when I saw other people doing it and I wanted to do it, I approached that group of people so they could mentor me and give me the right equipment, kind of show me the ins and outs of how long the water ski is, all the gear. I spent time with them out on the Delta so that I could become better at my skills of skiing so that I could go at higher speeds, and I basically sharpened my water skiing skills into speed skiing skills. So they have these specific boats that are offshore boats. Some people refer to them as cigarette boats. And then there's like 21-foot boats with twin turbo or blown motors that can do over 100 miles an hour. So here I am, a beginner, probably only skiing like 45 or 50 miles an hour with these huge aspirations of being a world champion. So that was the beginning for me. Like, I want to do this, even though I'm starting at, 21 years old. I want to compete, make the world team, sharpen my skills, follow the leaders in the sport. So I really engulfed myself into the sport passionately. I worked out in the gym. I went water skiing at regular speeds for an hour at a time so that I could withstand speed skiing for a half hour at higher speeds. But it definitely took a lot of time to get
Well,
to the point.
when you first started high speed skiing, did you instantly know I want to be the best? I'm going to train for this. Janine, were there a lot of women doing this?
I would have to say that at my age, there were women doing it because they hadn't started families yet. They hadn't gotten married yet. They were still in their young 20s, as was I, not married, no children, aspirations of doing something in a sport at my age. And so I did have competitors at that time, 1996, 97, 98. It was very competitive sport. I did see in 1997 a world title. And that is really when I thought to myself, I want to do that. How can I do that? So I approached people that had gone before me, women, and to mentor me, to help me, to teach me how to train, how to calm the storm or the fear of potential injury, because skiing at 100 miles an hour across water, can be fatal. And it has been for some of my friends. God rest their souls.
You have to learn how to ski in rough, smooth, wind, rain, it doesn't matter. If the day of competition, it happens to be windy, do they cancel the race? If it's a windy day, do they cancel the race?
Very rarely has high-speed water ski racing ever canceled a race. We have endurance races in the ocean, in the North Sea, off of Long Beach here in the United States, in Australia, New Zealand. So very rough water conditions. And so these aren't just speed skiing, these are endurance racing, like how fast for how long in whatever conditions there are, and you've got to make a go of it. So you really have to train your body and your mind to do this, because it's not just a physical sport. To ski 90 plus miles an hour can be very, very scary, and you have to calm the storm in your body, in your mind. For me, it was meditation, visualization, speaking with my team, whom I trusted with my life at those moments of high speed. So any condition, every condition goes, and you have to be prepared for it.
What equipment did you use for competition?
Oh my
what,
goodness.
what ski did you use? I mean, way back when I was young, it was Maharaja, Conway, O'Brien. I mean, what did you use?
So Maharaja, Bob Mahar, is a very good friend of mine, and he actually built my world-class race ski by hand for me. So I just adore him. So Maharaja water skis, Bob has been around for a very long time. He was a high-speed water ski racer, as was his daughter. He lives here in California. And so I've been blessed to have had him in my life and build skis specifically for me. They're 7 feet 2 inches long. My ski weighed 17 and a quarter pounds. He cut it down for me. As a competitor, I'm a lighter, smaller competitor. I needed a smaller, lighter ski so that I could control it. The water's really rough. That ski's really long. You want to be able to control it and not have it control you. So that was
when you had competition, for high speed, were some of the competition held on lakes, or were they held always in the ocean, or where did they actually hold competition?
So anywhere that there's a body of water that's, larger than 3 miles, we could have a competition. I have competed in lakes, I've competed in rivers, I've competed in oceans. We have races in canals, in Belgium and Spain. They're horrific. We have one-way smooth races, 72 miles long in Australia. I've skied 2 up, 2 skiers back there. So any type of body of water, really, we race in.
Did you travel a circuit? Did you go out of the country?
Yes, I've gone out of the country many times. Fortunately, with all my years of training and practice, I was able to make the world team. It literally took me 7 years, Malia. It's every other year. So in 2001, I had physically skied well enough to make the team, but was not chosen because another competitor had previous team experience. So as you might understand, I was devastated. And after that, I upped my training, upped my game. I traveled to wherever I could, to whatever water conditions. I trained so hard that I won all of the selection races for the next 2 years. And I was the #1 pick for the 2003 world team. And
awesome.
So I've skied all over the world. I've traveled the circuit. I have been blessed to have many national titles, many records.
So you left your mark. You left your mark in many countries.
Yes, I did. In fact,
you're a well-known name when it comes to high-speed water skiing. Now, who was your toughest competition?
Oh my gosh, the Australians by far are were my toughest competition. They are so fast. The sport is much bigger there. There's more boats, more people. So it's more competitive. So they ski faster. They they push each other, you know. I would like to hang out with my mentors so that I could try to be as good as they are. Well, in Australia, the competition is so great that they're just breaking records all the time, and they come to the United States, and we are literally thinking, oh my gosh, we're fortunate if we can come in second. But fortunately for me, I was
Oh my
able to
gosh.
break that mental toughness and beat the Australians. No offense to my friends.
Oh man.